Alright, welcome to the ColaBros Cthulhu Mythos game. This is based on the 5th edition rules for Dungeons & Dragons, and we are going to adapt it using Sandy Peterson's Cthulhu Mythos for 5e rule set. This is what you see here on the left. We can scroll up to the intro, and I will go ahead and read that. The Cthulhu mythos is based on the principle that humanity is not the center of the universe. The cosmos is vast and filled with unthinkable forces, many not subject to our own natural laws. Some of these forces are unthinkably powerful, best considered to be like unto gods. These include great old ones and outer gods, such as Yog-Sothoth, Azathoth, Hastur, and Cthulhu himself. Others are lesser beings, though still fearsome and dangerously intelligent, such as the fungi outer space aliens from Yuggoth, the deep ones, or the elder things. These forces can manifest in the physical world as well, giving supernatural potency to inanimate objects or even concepts such as geometry and mathematics. The mythos is nothing if not scientific, though humanity does not and indeed cannot know everything. The magic of the mythos is all founded upon scientific principles, discovered or undiscovered. So this particular campaign setting is going to occur in the summer of 1920 on Earth in the southwestern United States, outside Santa Fe, New Mexico. Many of the creatures in the mythos are so horrendously powerful that even a high-level group cannot kill them. Some of the entities described here are literally impossible to defeat. The entities of the mythos almost always corrupt those who learn of them. Adventurers who investigate the ancient lore of Yog-Sothoth or other great old ones should do so through a sea of terrors and ethical or religious quandaries. So as you get closer to the source of antagonism in this adventure, you will go deeper and deeper into battling the forces that will drive you to madness and terror. I will continue to refer to myself as the DM, Dungeon Master, rather than the more generic GM, simply because we're using Dungeons & Dragons rule sets, and it'll prevent confusion. Also notably, we are still going to use GP, gold pieces, as the major unit of currency, although that is completely interchangeable with United States dollars. But so that if we have anybody that is coming from a foreign country or anything, we don't need to worry about exchange rates or whatever. You're going to be given a standard starting value of wealth, 15 GP. That's your pocket money. You have $15. You could say dollars, you could say GP. Either one, they're going to be interchangeable. There you go. Most of the rules for 5th edition will be the same. However, there are two very important new rules that will be added, including the rules for dread and insanity. These mechanics, and a few more, add multiple ways that your character may become no longer playable. Death is not the only thing you must fear as you explore the mythos. Next, your characters will be much weaker compared to a typical 5th edition player character, even a first level one. The mythos is a collection of stories about mortal humans who are subjected to impossibly powerful and unknowable entities. Unless anything from here on out says otherwise, you can just assume that you're an average Joe without access to magic, powerful weaponry, etc., etc. Of course, it being based in 1920, there are firearms. Many of you may be able to carry, utilize, access them, what have you. But speeding hot metal may or may not be of any use whatsoever against some of the creatures of the mythos. Don't assume that you will be in access to magic or powerful weaponry. You may gain those abilities, but, and this segues nicely into my next point, there is a cost to be had. You may not know that cost. An ancient and terrible entity may take over your mind, or you may become physically deformed, lose one or more of your senses, become horrified to the point of insanity, or anything of an infinite palette of consequences. Above all, remember this: magic is dangerous. But with that hazard comes potentially great power. If you wish to survive, you must use exactly the correct amount of magic, taxing your sanity only enough to preserve your life, and then trying, and possibly failing, to step back from that wellspring of temptation. Lastly, you are going to be asked to create multiple characters. We're going to go with 3 right from the start. Some, possibly many of them, will very likely be killed, driven insane, consumed wholly by eldritch horrors, lost forever in alternate dimensions. We'll have additional characters on hand and ready to go when this happens so that we can keep gameplay on pace. There is one last item, and this is totally optional. I said a month ago that if you've not read H.P. Lovecraft, now would be a good time to start. You're recommended to read Call of Cthulhu, just because it's so iconic. But then to move into At the Mountains of Madness and The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. If you don't know what any of those things are, maybe you just recognize the name Cthulhu. It is good reading. Dream Quest is pretty long. It might be H.P. Lovecraft's longest story. I don't know. If you're not familiar with who he was and the history of that, he was not really a pulp fiction, but a digest author. Turn of the century magazines, Harper's Weekly survived, but there were many others. Would put out monthly or quarterly editions of collected short stories, poetry, stuff to read. And subscribers would just read, their monthly or quarterly or what have you. It was a subscription service to new artistic works at the time. We have Netflix and chill. They had Lovecraft and go to sleep because you probably don't have electricity. I'm just kidding. They had electricity. 1920, yeah. Anyway, here's a link to the character sheet. You've got that. Here's how we're going to change the 5th edition rules. First off, initially, only human is a playable character. All your stats will be rolled by 3d6, and one roll, that's it. Whatever it is whatever it is. If you roll a 3, you get a 3. You roll the stats in order, starting with strength, then dexterity, and so on until you get to 6. You do still gain the racial bonuses, so for humans you'll add 1 to each stat. Are other races playable? Eventually, maybe. There may be more races that are playable that you don't know about yet. Classes. Based upon the stats, just take a quick look at them, consider what job your character might have in the early 20th century. If you're really strong, maybe you're a porter, maybe you're a mason, maybe you are a somebody in the trades. If you're very dexterous, maybe you're a metal worker, maybe you are a electrician. That was a new job at the time. If you're very intelligent, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're some professor, so on and so forth. With that kind of occupation in mind, just go ahead and roughly guess at whatever you suspect your class would be. All of the classes in 5th edition Player's Handbook, go ahead and select one. For example, a fisherman might be an aquatic druid, right? A priest is pretty obviously a cleric, but a researcher or other academic could be a warlock, sorcerer, or wizard. Depends how they acquired their interest in the story hook. Pretty much anything can work. Don't sweat it. Go ahead and write down your class next to your profession/specialty and take no further action. No spells, no other class features. Yet. Don't worry about that too much. Again, spellcasting will be granted to you over time through the development of the story. If you have a desire to have a spellcasting class, don't worry, we'll work it out. But, you have to because magic it's a very risky endeavor. You may go searching for it. It may find you. Either way, there's going to be tests to your sanity whenever you dabble in the arcane. Any of the backgrounds in the player's handbook can be chosen, although they will be adapted for use to 20th century Earth. Use the listed skills, tool proficiencies, languages, and equipment. Maybe make it a little bit different. You know, if you start off with a short sword and you're like, hey, I want a vest pocket 32. Right, whatever. There are 4 additional backgrounds that you may select that are not in the player's handbook. They are new in Sandy Peterson's work. The Alienist, your experience in attempting to decipher the mysteries of the human mind. This could be an asylum psychologist, a fortune teller, a spirit medium, anything. You're trying to investigate the inner workings of the human mind. A cultist. Note, you will not be working against the other players. So this is a cultist who has either escaped the cult or only tangentially aware of them. For example, maybe you are the offspring of a member of the cult and you have found your father's writings and his membership pin, his emblems, what have you, such that you've learned about the cult but are not actively trying to bring about the rise of the great old ones. That sort of shit. A survivor. This is someone who has been exposed to the horrors of the mythos and survived. And that could be really anything that you could think of. If you want to pick this and you can't think of something, we'll work something out. And then lastly, there's the visionary. This is somebody who sees things but has not directly, physically, in the real world, experienced what's going on. So the visionary is possibly a dreamer, lucid dreamer, possibly somebody who has possibly insane psycho crazy shit that they see, and that might drive them to generate some sort of art out of what their visions are. So that could be anything physical. So maybe you carve soap, right? Or you whittle down wood into tiny little figurines, or you're a painter, or you're maybe even a music composer that tries to interpret the sounds that you hear as kind of that vision of the other side, and try to interpret those sounds into music, or to play those sounds on a musical instrument, that sort of thing. Try to recreate to what your normal human ear is unhearable, but you hear it perfectly within your head. You know, we can develop anything like that. Yeah. So again, we are going to southwestern United States, specifically outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this is the summer of 1920. So with all that in mind, let's go with the first guy. Are you ready?
I hope so. I wasn't taking notes. That was a lot to process.
Yeah, I know. That's why I recorded it.
Yeah, well, part of me sitting here like, I guess, God damn it, what did I do with the fucking pen? I was sitting there thinking to myself, how I'm going to go back and rewatch it just to take notes on everything. Oh, fuck, are you kidding me? I did write some stuff down. Well, I got to get another pen.
Sure, that's fine. Take your time.
Oh, I'm a mess. All right.
62.
So my race is human. I got to come up with a class for everything, right?
Correct.
I need my book. I do want one spellcaster though. I want to play one.
Sure.
I don't know if you have a recommendation before I get my book.
No,
So,
it honestly doesn't matter. There are only so many spells available anyway, and pretty much all of the classes will have access to something. So what we're going to do, game rules, here we go. Sources, player's handbook. And da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that's just queued up for when we need it.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready, we're going to start by rolling, and you can just go over to the game chat channel and roll 3d6 6 times and put those as your stats.
All right. You said 3d6, right?
Yep. No 3d6 plus 1 because you're human, so you will add a 1 to all of them.
Okay. All right, I'm almost back. So 9, 13, and 14.
Yep, there you go.
So that's strength, dex, and constitution, right?
Yep. And then 3 more for wisdom, intelligence, and charisma.
All right. This is fun. Apparently, I'm not very smart.
No, you're smart, just not wise.
Okay, fair enough.
Decent freaking stats, though. That's a 9, 13, 14, 6, 14, 13. So, go ahead and put in your ability modifiers. And where the heck was that table? There you go. So your ability modifiers, 9. Whoop. That's the... Here we go. So 9 is a -1. 13 is a +1. 14 is a +2. 6 is a -2. 14 is a +2. And 13 is a +1.
Okay, can you give me the first 3 again?
Sure. 9 is a -1.
Okay.
13 is a +1. 14 is a +2. 6
right,
is
cool.
a -2.
Got it.
So, with that in mind, and you said you wanted to try out a spellcaster of some sort, so that leaves us with basically sorcerer, wizard, or warlock.
Yeah.
Now, one of the hooks, and this is even in normal rules of 5th edition, one of the hooks for warlock is that you have a patron, and in Faerun it might be a demon from the lower planes or something, or maybe you have a celestial patron or whatever. But again, even within 5th edition, there's the option for the Great Old One. Some people call it the Gulok, Goo, Great Old One, lock for warlock. Anyway, it's kind of a dumb name, but fucking nerds, right? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that's an obvious tie-in. I will tell you that Rex selected sorcerer. Again, doesn't necessarily matter. It's not going to change, and we're not rolling HP quite yet. We're gonna use the Constitution score and probably a flat D8 for everybody. So yeah.
Okay. All right. What's up next?
So, are you sold on Warlock, or would you rather go Wizard or anything else?
Well, I don't want to be a wizard with my intelligence that low, though.
Intelligence of 14 is one of your highest stats.
Oh, I must have something backwards. I have 14 for Constitution.
Yes.
I
And
have
then you had
nine,
9,
nine.
13, 14, 6, 14, 13.
Yeah.
So, in order, that should be Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, Intelligence, Charisma.
Okay. Then the one I printed off is wrong. Wisdom and Charisma are backwards.
Oh, gosh, I guess I should look at the frickin' sheet that I sent to you. And,
No, I printed off one from the internet trying to get ahead of things because I saw your post around 7:30. Hang on, I'm sitting next to my printer, so it'll only take me a minute. We still have the numbers. Character sheet.
let's see what this says. I've got Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. Oh, I see. All right, so that's backwards. All right, well then maybe you go with let's see. Warlock is a charisma casting class. You go Cleric. That's a wisdom class.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Okay. How do you feel about a more like traditional religious based character?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not particularly religious at all, but it sounds fun for some reason.
As long as you can play it, you know what I mean? So, and it
Yeah.
doesn't like it can be as stereotypical or as unique as you feel like you want to do it. Do pick a religion that existed in 1920. So, I'm not sure how many that's going to disqualify, but you know, something
Right.
that existed in the United States in 1920. If you pick Islam, it's gonna kind of be a little weird. Like, obviously they were around, but how do you get that to the American Southwest? Maybe not the best thing. I'll give you an outside possibility. Native American spiritualist. Although
I kinda like that,
honestly, if you're more familiar with oh gosh, I messed it up. If you're more familiar with Christianity of some flavor or Mormonism or
Yeah.
really whatever you want to like, if that's gonna be easier for you to play, then just go ahead with that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, you know what? I am an ordained minister in the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Well, I don't know that will come up in this game, but
It kind of fits, though, a little bit.
a little bit. That's certainly part of the hook. I mean, yeah, we could take Crazy Street Preacher if that's what you want to go with.
I think I do.
Honestly, whatever you wanna, however you wanna play it.
All right.
Just
Well,
do
I
keep
got
in
my
mind
new
that we are going for a slightly more realistic kind of tone on that. Well, realistic. There's magic and unknowable ancient monsters, and yeah. So it's not realistic, but realism. How about that?
Right. Okay.
But yeah, if you do pick Crazy Street Preacher, then certainly there's much less risk of blasphemy or anything like that that would upset anyone. Not that I would necessarily mind. It's a game, We're literally pretending to do this, so but all the same. Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll go with Street Preacher. And here's just kind of some questions to get you in the mood and just maybe gut reaction. How do you feel about alcohol? This is the first year of Prohibition.
I don't. I like alcohol.
So a street
I don't
preacher
want
in
it to be prohibited.
1920 who does like alcohol. Okay.
Yep.
What are your feelings on violence, guns, and war? Keep in mind we just got done with World War One.
Right. Well, I like guns and I don't like war, and so
Okay, fair enough.
I'm kind of a libertarian hippie.
You got it. Did your character fight in the war?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm gonna say I had some sort of injury that prevented me from doing so.
Okay, so you have some sort of physical deformity. You don't have to come up with it right away, or physical limitation. Like you walk with a cane. Maybe you're just old. Maybe he's just an old dude. How did you come upon your unique blend of faith?
It just came to me over time
It came to you over time.
from living.
Have you been dabbling in perhaps things that should not be read? Or was this just kind of a collection of life experiences for you?
It's a collection of life experiences.
Okay. How open-minded would you say you are to things that would possibly call into question your understanding of reality?
Oh, I would love that.
Okay.
I would absolutely welcome that.
So if you came upon, for example, a book that obviously contained mystic secrets of perhaps things that humans should not be aware of, you just totally fucking read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. How have you survived your first few decades of life? Profession, earning money. What have you been doing?
Shit. None of the ones I wrote down from earlier fit.
Well, that's okay.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I was a moonshiner.
Okay. No, that's fine. Although, to be fair, the profession of moonshining is new and wild. You could be one now, but this being
That's true. I didn't.
Yeah,
I
this
didn't
being
think of that.
the very first year of Prohibition, I would say that you would have had to, like, maybe you're traveling and you're looking for a place where you can set up a shine business. Or
That's solid because I'd like to stick with moonshiner.
okay, that's fine.
I'll be a moonshiner that really loves Jesus. My
Works.
grandfather was a moonshiner and he really loved Jesus.
There's no problem doing both.
Yep.
So let's see. We've got a job now. Brief bit of history. Where are you coming from? Keep in mind that this is 1920. If you're traveling, you're probably traveling by railroad across the American Southwest, which means maybe you're trying to get to California. Maybe you're trying to get to kind of the Pacific Northwest area. You're going out there for, maybe you heard that they're perhaps a little bit more libertarian minded in the ways of enforcement of prohibition, and you think that you're going to be able to make it rich out there selling shine. Maybe you are, maybe you're running from something. Maybe you've been suspected of shining. Maybe your last business got shut down, or a previous business partner got pinched. And you think you need a new location to kind of get a fresh start. Maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe I'm heading to Oregon.
Okay.
Because I think I'm gonna like the scenery there.
Why not? Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
And
I'm coming from West Texas where it's flat.
okay. Sounds good. You're tired of being hot.
Yeah, there we
you
go.
Okay.
I miss rain. I miss rain very much.
So that is about, honestly, all that you really need to set this up. So you're on a rail car and you're going north, and it's been about a day's travel. You've gotten to a small town outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. You're going up through, gosh, where would that be? Like Omaha or something, going north and then west. I don't know what the rail map looked like in 1920, but believe that it was fairly extensive. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So basically do the exact same thing for two other characters, just so that you have backups for if/when your street preacher dies.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recording, because that's probably enough. Actually, no. Wait on that. We need a background.
Yeah, keep it going.
We need a background for your street preacher. So we can use anything in 5th edition, and I will grab. Let's see. Backgrounds. So the backgrounds in 5th edition are acolyte, charlatan, criminal, entertainer, folk hero, guild artisan, hermit, noble, outlander, sage, sailor, soldier, and urchin. Acolyte, of course, would fit your character quite easily. But you could also call yourself a folk hero. Hey, the guy is making moonshine and preaching about Jesus. That's as much as a hero as anybody these days. Or maybe you're even an artisan. Maybe you've worked with your hands your whole life, and now you want to dedicate your craftsmanship to the arts of the booze. And again, the 4 new backgrounds that you can take from the Mythos rules are alienist, cultist, which I don't think necessarily applies, Mythos survivor, which we'd need something in your backstory to have survived, or visionary. You have visions of things that occur in your head. I could see a bunch of stuff that could fit, but you tell me what works best for your character.
I don't know. I still like how we started going down the path of me being a former criminal.
Possibly
I think I can.
future criminal.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of why was I leaving? Because I was involved in mob type activities, and I'm trying to get out somewhere nobody knows me.
Quick question: have you spent time in prison?
I have.
Okay. Sure. That's fine.
I've not spent time in prison, but I've been in a jail before.
Got it. So there's 8 specialties listed in the rules: blackmailer, burglar, enforcer, fence, highway robber, hired killer, pickpocket, or smuggler? Do any of those
Ooh,
sound...
Smuggler.
A smuggler, okay. So,
I'm gonna put my past criminal activities into my new criminal activity of being a fucking moonshining preacher.
got
Hippie.
it. Is how much of being a preacher is a cover for the illicit activity, or do you
Not at all.
genuinely believe what you're preaching?
I'm gonna genuinely believe what I'm preaching.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll go ahead and post this, although you can easily look it up because you've got D&D Beyond. Tool proficiencies, skill proficiencies. This is the important thing. Go ahead and mark all of that.
Oh, what did I do with it? Okay.
And you will note that
I'm on the page. I got it, so I will fill this in later.
Sure, yeah, no rush. And you can just look back at this and ask yourself the same kind of questions, and that'll get you pretty much everything you need to know. And just follow along with the same stuff. I will scroll real quick through the mythos backgrounds just so that they're here. So here's Alienist, and I'm just showing this on screen so that anybody can look it up and use it.
Well, I don't have a link. I haven't been looking at this screen.
No, I'm not broadcasting. I'm just recording it, and I will go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and upload it. So yeah, just hit pause there and check it out. You can hit pause on this screen. Here's the Mythos cultist. Hit pause on this screen for the Survivor. Here's the second half of Survivor and the first half of Visionary. And there you go. So don't worry about these feats. Don't worry about spells. Don't worry about anything else. Just get your character rolled up. Get a background. Get a job. And it's more important that you do the role-playing questions like I've been asking Boltface here of, who are you? Where are you coming from? Why are you traveling through the American Southwest? Kind of like what motivates your character? What's he looking for? What's he want out of life? Are you just trying to survive? Do you have some greater purpose? Are you just looking for fame and fortune? Do you want to go to Hollywood and be a movie star? Actually, I don't know that Hollywood was new at the time. If it was a very new thing. The Silent Years, 1910 to 1927. Manhattan. Yeah. So yeah, like movies are the newest shit. Fair enough. Necessary to put production on a systematic year-round schedule. Most films still shot outdoors. San Antonio, Texas, huh? Santa Fe, New Mexico. Apparently they're setting up a film studio in Santa Fe. Maybe you want to be a part of the early American film industry. I don't know. Could be anything. Could be anything. Feel free to Google. Keep in mind this is the summer of 1920, So literally anything that can get you to the American Southwest in 1920, we can go with it. So feel free to generate the most creative characters you can think of, and when you've got 3 of them, that's it. You're good. If you're not actively traveling, that is, you're all gonna be on the same train. Like, because just for simplicity of story, you're all going to end up on the same train if you're traveling. If you're not traveling, that is, if you are perhaps you're a Native American at one of the reservations nearby, maybe you are a resident slash worker of the stop where the train pulls into. So anything that could be construed with the service industry, chef, busboy, a tobacconeer, I don't know, a sommelier, whatever, doesn't matter. You could conceivably be there already, or you could be working on the train or whatever. If you're a policeman, kind of same thing. Either you're traveling on the train, maybe you're a Fed, that was new at the time, looking for all those moonshiners and bootleggers. I don't know. There's all sorts of things you could do. The limit is just your imagination. Feel free to Google anything. And with that, unless Boltface has anything else, I'm going to stop the recording and post this just so that it's easy for everybody else to access on your own time, and go ahead and make your characters. Anything?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, sweet. Go ahead and generate 3 characters, and we will see you when we schedule the first game. Cheers.
All right, thanks, man. Apologies for being